Hello, my name is Lamar Townsend, and the objective is for the recipients of this presentation to learn the history of the Victory Garden, to learn how to create your own home garden, and be conscious of your physical and mental health. It is important that you do not randomly go out and try to create a garden, but you have to put thought, effort into it. You may have to write down some ideas, you may have to do some research. You may have to go to your local home garden center or your local nursery and ask questions. Find out what is best to grow in your area. Find out what zone that you are in. The Victory Garden started in the United States and Canada and around the world, actually during World War I and World War II. Although people had home gardens before, it was seen as an act of passively helping all war efforts. And because there were food shortages and food issues, individuals were encouraged to grow their own food at home, which would help with the food shortage. And as you can see, there were many publications and articles about this, appealing to many times children, certainly housewives, to those that perhaps were left behind while their husbands were away at war, or just the American people. This was your duty to your country. As the one posting says, Uncle Sam says, garden to cut food costs. Ask the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Washington, D.C., for a free bulletin for gardening. And then there's another one that also Victory Gardens were known as war gardens because they were encouraged during World War I and World War. President Franklin Delano Roosevelt wasn't excited about the whole efforts of Victory Gardens, and his wife Eleanor Roosevelt wanted to plant one at the White House, but he felt like, listen, he told the people, his staff, to tell her anything that you need to do to get her from planting this garden. Tell her we have a bad soil. Tell her there's rocks in the soil. He said, listen, this place belongs to the American people, and the last thing we need to do is be planting a garden on the front lawn. Well, that didn't go too well, and all the advisors sided with Mrs. Roosevelt. And certainly there was a young lady living in the White House at the time by the name of Diana Hopkins, whose father worked in the White House and they lived there as well. And certainly she became the poster child for this White House garden, a tradition that has continued into our present time. We know that former First Lady Michelle Obama, listen, she was seen in the garden amongst all the other things that go on in the White House, turkeys and all the other excitement. There is a White House garden. And so, in hopes, Franklin Delano Roosevelt went on to say, I hope every American who possibly can will grow a Victory Garden this year. We found out last year that even the small gardens helped. The total harvest from Victory Gardens was tremendous. It made the difference between scarcity and abundance. And so, as time would go on, we found out that in 1944, the White House produced 40% of their fruits and vegetables. And we know that Victory Gardens include fruits and vegetables and herbs as well. But we certainly, you are also encouraged nowadays to grow flowers as well because it helps pollinators, it helps the bees. And, there have been some instances where we've had a short of bees. We want you to know that you can be self sufficient, which was one of the main messages. Home gardening is not something you read about, it is something you participate in. You can grow, you can learn, and you can share. It is a great, tremendous help to your mental health. Listen, it keeps you occupied, it keeps you outside, and for your physical health, it keeps you moving, it keeps you in the fresh air, it keeps you in the sunshine. It listen, it keeps you occupied. It keeps your mind off of other things. And certainly it can be a group effort, a family effort. Many people have developed community gardens where they share with others that are less fortunate. and certainly you can share with your neighbors as well. And I found out in times when I grow my own home garden, and I have sometimes an abundance, and tomatoes and cucumbers, I always say, are the easiest things to grow. And certainly sometimes you just have to give away. You take them to work, you take them to church, you take them to your neighbors, because you have such an abundance. It is actually a social aspect. You get to talk to others about your garden. You get to talk to others about what you're growing or what they're growing. So grow, learn, and share with your home garden. First thing you need to do is pick a location. Most crops require sun, some require shade, some require sun and shade, but pick a great location in your on your property. If you know the different types of soil that you have, listen, pick a great area where the soil looks rich and nutritious. You can go to your garden center. There's kits to test your soil, the pH level in your soil, and all those types of things. So you can add whatever fertilizers or organic matter that you need to add to your soil. So pick a location that is. Then you want to go to your garden center or your nursery, pick your seeds. If you choose to buy plants that have already started, you can go pick your own plants. But pick your seeds and decide what you want to grow, where you want to grow. Look at the growing season and the planting times, and that is very important in the process. And you want to decide, listen, is this a summer garden or is it a winter garden? Because it makes a difference when you plant which crops in your area. Listen, plant your seeds, plant your plants, water as needed. Rain is the best water. Some people collect rainwater. And so, in times when there is no rain, if you water your plants with that collected rainwater, that is definitely better than water from the hose. Rain, you'll find that when it rains, it makes everything grow, the grass, the flowers, the fruits, the vegetables, even the weeds grow when it rains, because there's something in the natural rain that just nature loves. And then you wait for the harvest. Listen, I hope you've enjoyed this informational and instructional video about Victory Garden and home gardening. I want to encourage you to know what you're growing, know what you're eating, know what you're putting in your body. There's a lot of GMOs out there, but listen, if you grow your own food, you're in control. You don't have to use a lot of pesticides. There's natural things you can do. You can plant herbs to keep away bugs and pests. You can plant marigolds in the midst of your garden. Listen, wait for that harvest. You'll feel great. It tastes great. It smells great. It looks great. And certainly it is a great social piece. Thank you. Thank you again.